hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Take you out of my hand again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third show of Me and Astrid's today. We are here for the post-show for WrestleMania. Woo! It's been a long day, Astrid.
Very long day. I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
You know, that main event, it took its time. We'll say that. We'll save more thoughts on that later. We got our good friend Bobby Munson jumping in saying, hello, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the show today. I did. I thought it was a great night one of WrestleMania. I was thoroughly sports entertained. Was it the greatest night of professional wrestling I've ever seen? No, not really. It was good. It was a good night of professional wrestling.
I was having fun until the main event happened. After that one, even my dad told me, "It's like you're falling asleep." And I was like, "Yeah, they're taking too long." After that,
it did drag a bit, and we'll talk about that with our guest Tony once he gets in here. We've got he's still finishing up his watch along. Andre saying, I'm still here. Thank you, Andre. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. We greatly appreciate it. We also greatly appreciate the people on Twitter going ahead and getting a chance to watch. If you guys want, go ahead and jump in either to the YouTube channel or to the Twitch channel if you want to go ahead and chat and give your thoughts as we go ahead and give our thoughts on the night. As a whole, what did you think of the night? Was there any, other than the main event, was there any misses? Because I have a feeling we're going to talk long and hard about that main event.
I think Jimmy and Jey was, I don't want to say a letdown, but I just feel like they could have done more in that aspect to make me more interested in the match. I feel like it was all right. I expected a little bit more from both of them, aside from the super kicks, of course. But I did not see only match that I just felt like it kind of under-delivered for me, aside from the main event, because yeah, I liked it, but it felt like a match that could have happened on Raw. Like it didn't have to happen on WrestleMania.
Yeah. Barry Monkey says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you,
Barry.
Barry. Thank you for still being here. We greatly appreciate you still hanging around. It's great. That ladder match was far too overbooked, despite that the moment that match was a mess. I mean,
yes and no.
I'll disagree with that one. But the ladder match was as overbooked as I'd like a ladder match. I think if we're going to talk overbooked, I think we have to talk the main event, and again, we'll get there. But no, I thought everything else was relatively decently booked. I didn't think it did follow a very superior match with Rhea and Becky. There was some fun there, and we will get to that. As always, our friend Andre C saying Jade was a miss in her 1 minute. I timed this on my phone. 1 minute 56 seconds of in-ring time.
You guys are such haters.
I thought she did fine. I thought she looked like $1 million for the minute 56 that she was in there. I'll be honest. I don't have the hate that Andre C seems to have for her, but then again, I didn't subject myself to her AEW run. So
drinking some haterade, I see.
Barry Monkey, I like the ladder match. It was entertaining, fun, without being stupidly dangerous looking. Yeah, there were no real super dangerous spots in that ladder match. There was a couple weird spots in that ladder match, but them climbing the ladder that was clearly about to break, I got worried at the time. But overall, that wasn't superbly dangerous. Like, I don't think anyone was in danger with that spot, as we've seen other ones. He says she still messed the back body drop. I don't think she messed up that back body drop. I think it was an over. I think it was an over rotation by, I believe that was Kairi, wasn't it?
I think so.
Back body drop, I think was Kairi.
Mm-hmm.
Probably months saying Jade was using the right way. Don't overexpose any shortcomings right now. While she gets better, her use was done properly. Now, I agree, and like I said in the pre-show, that's exactly what I expected to happen with Jade Gargill. She was going to get minimal time. She was going to do big, powerful offensive moves, and then that was going to be the end of it. Andre says, no, that was completely Jade messing it. I disagree. The woman ref tugging at Priest's heights was so highlighted that I do have questions about what Jessica Carr was trying to get across to Damian Priest.
I think she was telling him to slow down when the spot was happening with the Miz there. I thought at first I was wondering who was grabbing Damian, thinking it was somebody interfering in the match. And then I realized it was her and was like, why is she doing that to him? But then I realized towards the top he went a little bit slower, and that's when the Miz was coming up at the same time, so you could tell it was the timing of it there.
Yeah, I hate when the refs make themselves involved in spots like that to timing spots. It really annoys me. Not on the wrestlers portion, but the referees portion. Like, that's something that you just let him go with. Priest knows the spot he needs to hit, and he knows how to hit it. It's not like he's a celebrity. He knows his spots. He'll take his time as he goes. You don't have to reinforce it in his mind.
Yeah, he almost looked kind of like pissed that she did it. He kind of looked back at her, kind of like kind of leave me alone kind of thing. I was like, ew, okay.
I mean,
Oh my God, Andre,
I think you just gotta admit that you're not a Jade Cargill fan and agree to disagree.
You gotta be Elsa. Let it go, please.
Andre says that I think everybody and their mother knew that ladder was broken. I don't think anybody needed to tell him that. More importantly, why would she tell him that? It was the Miz's side that was the broken side. His side was perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and start getting into it. Like I said, for everybody who's wondering, Tony will be in shortly. He is finishing up his watch-along right now. They are doing their special gift card edition of Trivia Night, and they have 40 questions over 2 nights. So right now he is doing his trivia. And then once he finishes up, he'll watch along. He will be right over here. So we're going to go ahead, me and Astrid, and just jump right into talking about this card. And we'll ask for Tony's thoughts on the matches as they go once he gets here. Let's start with the match that opened the show. Becky and Rhea. What did you think of Motionless in White?
I like because my brother's like, they all look like Rhea. And I couldn't take that out of my mind after he said it. No, I really loved it because I feel like when you get that special kind of entrance like that for Mania, it makes you feel like more of a superstar than you usually do. It feels like it gives it that extra oomph to it. So I did like seeing that. Plus her being like involved with the band and she's kind of like singing along to the tune in the end because she does it all the time. So it's nice to see her doing it with the band there live as well. And again, her long hair, she looked beautiful. I loved it. The gear looked really cool too. I also liked Becky's entrance involving her book because she had mentioned it was going to be her book involved, but I was wondering how she was going to do it. I did like how they involved with the book with her journey in WWE so far because we went from her doing her dancing in NXT to what she is now as the man, and I really like seeing that transformation from her NXT days to who she is now, and showing the quotes from her book there. I really enjoy that, and I like the little kind of skirt that she had because the skirt had parts of her book in there as well. So I like how they both implemented a little bit of themselves into their entrances here.
Bobby Munson, Motionless in White are great. And yes, Chris Motionless and Rhea are almost twins, especially when he put on that weird white makeup that made him look like Rhea Ripley from 2023. I saw that tweet online. I thought that was great. Andre, of course, drinking his haterade still, sounded like shit. I thought you know what? I'm not a metal guy. I'll be honest. I'm a pop country dude. I love me some old school oldies. I love me some 90s bubblegum pop. I thought Motionless Lights were pretty good. It's not my type of music, but if you just listen to the band and you take out Chris Motionless, it's fine.
I could tell that Chris sounded a little bit louder than the music, but other than that, they didn't sound like crap, to be honest. It sounded really well. He was higher.
And Andre says that he likes the song, just the live version Yeah, I think he went for it as hard as he could because he's local. Apparently he's from Scranton, if I've heard correctly from Michael Cole. So, or no, it was Corey Graves, I think, who gave us that, as Corey is the metalhead of the group. We said Ophelia is saying Andre being spicy again, to which Andre replies, I'm pretty bland. This is the second best match, only slightly behind the Intercontinental title match. We'll get there. Marion said Becky didn't look well. She was falling off the top ropes, doing moves rather than jumping. Remember, as described to us on commentary, 102 fever and strep throat. Yeah. Things that would normally make people sit in bed all day long, and Becky was out there in 52-degree weather wrestling one of the best in the world. So I give, as a Becky hater, I give her all the credit in the world for being able to do the little bit that she was able to do tonight. Yeah. She cobbled together a fantastic effort, considering if she's feeling as bad as they're telling us she's feeling.
Yeah.
Sure. But I thought this was a good match. I thought Rhea played so well to the things that she needed to do when she was playing up to not being able to put Becky away and needing to go bigger and bigger. I thought that was really cool. There were some cool spots in this match. The top rope man slam that didn't get the job done was a really cool one. The spot where they flipped to the outside and Becky was still on top of Rhea's shoulders, and then she does the electric chair to get ready to go into the ring to do the riptide, and then it's still only a 2 count. That was a fantastic near spot.
Yeah, I think I also think. Sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, I give Rhea credit, wrestling someone that might vomit or worse any second. I mean, it is what it is. Andre, come on, man. Come on. Bring some positivity. Find your New Day spirit. Bring some positivity, Andre. Bring some positivity. We're done with the negativity. No, I mean, I think, I don't think strep throat and 102 fever is going to make her vomit. I don't think it's that kind of sickness. But I know when I have a fever, I don't want to move. It's more of like, I don't want to move. I'm tired. I'm hot. I'm cold. That's what I feel when I have a fever. So there you go, Andre. The match was wonderful. Much better. I like the positivity. You had another thought, though.
No, I was going to say that also it was very interesting thinking from Becky's side, because Becky, being a babyface here, she was focusing a lot on Rhea's injury, like her hand/wrist area there. And I thought very, very interesting because it's something that we usually see from our heels, not the baby faces. So for her to see that injury and I don't want to say take advantage, but like kind of work it even further, I thought that was super interesting as the match was happening there. And again, it's like I thought from the beginning, I had a feeling Rhea was going to retain. So I wonder now how Becky's character is going to do a little bit of change. How would that affect her going forward, as she wasn't winning the matches she thought she was going to win. So I'm interested to see how that character changes coming Monday night, most likely.
Yeah. With that, we move on to the ladder match, which was the next match on the card. And as predicted, Nostradamus here, I got both the split of the tag titles and the 2 championship teams correctly, as we had early in the match Grayson Waller and Austin Theory go up and grab the SmackDown tag team titles, although that didn't end well for Grayson Waller, as he did end up going through a mighty big ladder on a mighty big spot.
That hurt.
And then all kinds of spots with the tables throughout the match. But I think it's the end of that match for me that was just so great, of having Miz dangerously the only dangerous spot is Miz fighting with Damian on the top of that ladder. As you see that ladder like just tripping more and more. But they get down, they get off the ladder, Priest gets a new ladder in, Miz gets taken out, and R-Truth, the hero, R-Truth goes up and and I love how he gets the ladder up and he looks, and the entire crowd points to go up the ladder to get the championship. Just, R-Truth is a national treasure. 50 some odd years old. doing some of the best work of his career. The Awesome Truth is great. There were fantastic spots from everybody in this match. DIY looked great. The tag team champions for periods of this match looked really good. JD McDonough, Mr. Funko Pop himself. You know what? I know we like to hate on him, but that man is willing to take any and every bump for this business. He really is. Because that ladder bump off the ladder through the table was sensational. Now, completely safe because he landed a full back bump onto the table and it landed perfectly. So good on him to be able to go ahead and do that. But just absolute sensational work by JD McDonough in this match to get himself involved in the right ways, to not pull a James Ellsworth and go up, and even having commentary say he can't be the one to remove the titles. And so he tries to bring Finn up the ladder. I thought that was really cool and creative and different because that's something we need to do going forward. We do have Bobby Munson saying it looked like his Funko Pop head hit one of the tables on his way through the other. I agree. I think it did. But in all accounts, considering the spot he was taking, that's a pretty safe bump. Considering how bad that spot could have been, I still think it was pretty good. And he did get up and walk away, which was nice. What do you think?
I like the parts of first we had the moments of Tyler Babe with being the big strong boy and Carrie. I think it was Balor on top of him plus the ladder on top of it too. And I was waiting for that spot to be people coming in and him hitting them with Finn Balor. I was just disappointed it was only Kofi, I believe. I was waiting for more people to come in and do kind of that spot, and it didn't happen. Him and Pete doing that double moonsault, that looked just beautiful. The timing of it was incredible. Yeah, and like you said, first I was thinking because of when the tables were getting set up by DIY, if I'm not mistaken. So usually my brother and I go, oh, when you set up, you go through it. So we're expecting DIY to go through them somehow. We're not expecting JD to go through them later on. And then the part with R-Truth, when I saw him going towards the steel steps, I told my brother, he's going to tag it, isn't he? He's going to tag him in. And when he started doing that, the crowd reaction was just incredible. I loved it. And I love those moments when he's looking at DIY and they're kind of oh, we're gonna fight for it. He's like, no, you get one set of titles, we get the other ones. Got it? Yes, high five, let's do it. And I just love that. And then when he's telling them to do obviously the DX moves because he thinks that he thinks they're DX. So he's like, do the switch in music, do the pedigree. That kind of spot was just amazing. Obviously having JD, there was something that we knew was gonna happen somehow. So that spot with the ladder in itself, just I definitely felt like it hurt. I think his head being a Funko Pop maybe protected him a little bit more in that aspect, but that's okay. The other thing that I also kind of got me was the razor's edge from Damian to Kofi onto the chair. I could feel that, and it was so painful. But still, I feel like the match itself was just incredibly done. I loved it from beginning to end. I'm glad Awesome Truth got that spotlight. And I feel like I kept thinking with the predictions while we were making it, I also picked them because I was thinking along the lines of the Miz hasn't had a championship in quite a bit. So I would like to see him getting that kind of spotlight. And I feel like we say R-Truth is just a national treasure. So might as well reward him for being so. So that's going to be fun for them to be champions. And I'm glad the tag titles are split now. Thank God. So it's good to have more storylines for the tag teams on both brands now moving forward.
And I think it's fine to have this type of thing for the Miz and for R-Truth because it's the tag titles. These can come off them at any point without making them look bad in any way, shape, or form because it's the Awesome Truth. And if they lose these titles Monday, it's fine because we got the moment at WrestleMania. If they lose them in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, whenever these titles get taken off them, they can lose them and it's fine. But the matches they can have with DXIY, with the Creed brothers, with the New Day. There are so many fantastic matches on the horizon for the Awesome Truth to have with these. But we talk about DIY. The DX style entrance for DIY. Oh, the nostalgia bug hit me. The Shawn Michaels hat for I'm not Shawn Michaels, Johnny Gargano. Tommaso Ciampa doing his best to make sure his beard matches Triple H's for the entrance tonight. the DIY, the DX style DIY shirts that we talked about earlier when I showed off the tweets. Yeah, and don't forget, Pretty Deadly made it clear of their intentions. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of fantastic things that can be done. And with a draft, you can do a bunch of these matches in a row on Raw. And then when the draft happens, you can send people whichever way you need and go ahead and take these titles off R-Truth and Miz at that point. Like, these are the perfect people at the perfect time to hold these championships, because at the end of the day, when they lose them, it's no big deal. But it's good for networks when you're going ahead and doing the draft to pick and choose who's on what network. I am curious, though, which networks are going to be able to get to pick the draft, because we know the networks are heavily involved on picking who ends up on what side on these drafts. I wonder if Fox gets any say whatsoever for the next 3 months, 6 months, until their deal's over, or if the Raw side of the picks are being made by USA and Netflix executives are involved on SmackDown picks are being made by USA, and then the Netflix people are involved on the Raw picks. But the tag match absolutely delivered. I thought this was fantastic. I thought this was going to be my match of the night throughout most of the card. I really did. We move on once more to, I believe this was the next match, the LWO versus the Legado del Fantasma. Astrid. Talk to me about this.
I was torn about this one because I enjoyed it, but I know at the end it ended up being everybody involved. It's like, again, you might as well have made it a multi-person match. Who could have thought of that, you know? But I like seeing the stuff that we have been seeing from Wild and Cruz here in the match, because it's what we've seen recently from them in NXT, like Joaquin doing that jump and everybody's reaction towards it. It's just those moments that we have seen very often from them in NXT. So I love how a bigger crowd gets to see them. But again, it makes me think of like, what was the point of having this being a regular match when everybody else was involved outside as well? That's the point. That's the part I don't get the point of it. I did enjoy the match though in itself. I like the back and forth they had here from both teams. It's just so many moments. One thing that definitely hit me the most here was Andrade. I feel like he did so well in this match, like the back elbow to Dom, the like double moonsault he did to Dom too. That was so beautifully done. And I kept thinking, this man was wasted in AEW. I'm glad he's back home. That's the only thing I can think of. My brother's like, why? And I was like, because look at that. We didn't get to see that in AEW. And it's like, I'm glad he's home. I really am. And I just love the representation we get in the match altogether. Even Zelina taking down Elektra outside was just beautifully done. I love the guys coming in with the mask too at the end, and I had a feeling it was going to be Jason Kelsey, so it was nice to see him be in there. I was hoping it would be Travis, but I forgot that in Philly, so it couldn't be Travis unless they wanted him to get booed out of the building, which obviously we don't want during this tag match at the end. But I like having the baby faces win here. I was looking very carefully here at Carlito, because every time he moved a little inch too much, I was just afraid he was going to cost Ray and Andrade the match here. So I was waiting for that moment. It's like, oh no, it's going to happen now. And I was like, the heartbreak is coming soon. And even going up the ramp, he was behind Zelina and Mysterio. So I was thinking, oh, it's going to happen here. And all of a sudden they went to commercial. And I was like, okay, it's not going to happen now. It's going to happen sometime later. I don't know how I feel about this. But either way, I'm glad it happened the way it did. I like the booking of the match, and more than anything, I feel like Andrade and Santos were like the superstars here in the match. I feel like they got highlighted the most, and I'm glad Andrade was here to be able to be a part of this now. But I wonder how different it would have been with Dragon Lee and his speed. I think like that would have made the match a lot more different as well. But again, Andrade is right where he belongs.
There are years and years for Dragon Lee to get this opportunity. The inclusion of Andrade felt right. He's a much missed. Plus, the Zelina Vega connection makes a lot of sense with Andrade, being a part of this. I always thought Andrade was a better face than a heel. I thought that they never really fully utilized face Andrade in NXT on the main roster. I think they always kind of just defaulted to Andrade as a heel. And I think that there's going to be some, especially paired with Charlotte, There's going to be some potential for some really fun face dynamics for the two of them. Also, some really fun heel dynamics for when Charlotte goes heel and brings Andrade with her. There's going to be a lot of good there. I thought everybody in this match lived up to it. It was at this point that Pat McAfee really started to get annoying to me. It wasn't the whole night. I saw a lot of people complaining most of the night. This was the only of two matches where I really got sick of Pat. It was an interesting match. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. It wasn't the greatest thing, but I thought I was thoroughly sports entertained. I didn't like the ending. I didn't think it needed two guys mugging Dominic Mysterio. Like, I get it. It makes sense. It's fun. But I don't like the idea of the babyfaces mugging Dominic Mysterio out of nowhere for really no reason. Like, let's be honest. For no reason, these two men mugged Dominic Mysterio. Barry Monkey, they were like the reveals of who interfered. When the crowd sounds clues and the commentary have to explain. I still to this day don't know who the other Eagle is. It's Jason Kelsey and Eagle.
Yeah, I don't know who the other guy is either. And it's funny because I had a feeling he was going to be involved. I kept thinking, like, me being a Swiftie, he was partying not too long ago with a luchador mask. And I was like, it looks so similar to a Red Mysterio mask. And I was like waiting for that moment because it looks so very similar.
They tweeted back at him and told him that in Philly, when they come, he has to come by and meet Ray at WWE World. And they have to get him an Eagles version of Ray's mask, which is the exact mask that they used to do the run-in tonight. So it's nice to see that kind of come full circle with that.
They both trained at Monster Factory as well to be able to do this tonight as well. So I thought it was just something fun to include somebody in a different way. That's the part that I like from it, because not everybody's going to know who they are, but they're in Philly, so they're going to know who they are. So it's like they get the reaction they want from the live crowd, which is what matters to them during the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is what it is, and it's we have to understand that WrestleMania is a different show. It has different rules than a week in, week out basis. WrestleMania is a show for the most casual of casual fans. And so when you get to that stadium and you do the things that you do, you make decisions on a different level based on a different set of circumstances. And that's what happened here. Barry says, it wasn't a bad match, but it's probably one I won't remember tomorrow. I agree. This is the type of match that is great, but when we come out of WrestleMania weekend, it won't be something I remember. Some people will, with the JC Kelsey of it all, and, you know, as I said to Astrid, oh, look, it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother interfering in the match.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's going to be portrayed in most of the world.
Yep, I definitely had to call my sisters and like, it's Jason. And they both ran to the living room to watch him.
We then have the second best video package of, oh wait, no. Is this Spy versus Spy, or is this Team Bad? Okay, Spy versus Spy. All right, the second best video package of the night. I loved this video package. I don't know if it's something that we've seen before or if it's something that was brand new for tonight. But the two of them back to back cutting this promo, like saying their names, I am my brother's keeper, going through the entire bit of the video package and ending it with, I'm not my brother's keeper. This video package was light years better than the actual match.
I hate to say it, but yes.
As much as I wanted to love this match, and I did, and I liked this match, don't get me wrong. I'm not down on this match like a lot of people are. I thought this match was really good. I really enjoyed this. This overtook the ladder match for me on Match of the Night at this point.
Really?
Because I really liked the dynamic in the match. Contrary to what happened during the Billy Starks Queen Amanada match, which you and I bring this up for Astrid as a way to talk about it. I hated the use of an injury, especially a neck injury of all things, because those are life-threatening and severe. more so than matches with an injury to your knee or the leg. So I take head injuries a lot more seriously. But thank you. We have a raid from Get the Tables rating in with 19 people. Thank you guys for joining. We greatly appreciate it. Tony will be in here joining us momentarily, so you can continue watching Tony for the 5th straight hour as he gets in here in just a couple minutes. We are going to go back. For those that are just joining us from the Get the Table show, we are talking about Jimmy and Jey Uso. We are going to go back and give general thoughts on the matches that we've already talked about once Tony's in here with that. But no, I really like this match. I love the idea where he's like, dude, I'm sorry. And Jey buys the whole that Jimmy's sorry and that he feels for him. Because that's what the babyface should do. Jey should want to connect with his brother. Jey should want to believe that his brother's sorry for all this. He should believe. So the babyface buying into this, it gives you the right feelings. And the heel is doing something dastardly by using their own words and not faking something. Like, he's faking something, but not in the same way. All right, everyone, we want to go ahead and jump in with our special guest here. Tony, thank you for joining us.
Okay. What's up, guys? Yeah. Been having audio issues all night, so hopefully my mic acts nicely and lets me do the show with you guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, it's great.
We finally get to meet you.
Yeah, we've watched you for weeks and weeks. We've chit-chatted with you in chats back and forth. It's great to see you here.
Yeah,
STG jumping in saying the actual match was garbage. The build-up was better. I don't disagree the match was garbage, but I definitely think the build was better than the match. Barryman could jump in saying, I wish they would get Jimmy or Jay tattooed on their forehead so I know without taking notes. I mean, that's Barry being Barry. I think when they're in the ring together, it's a little bit, they've done things to differentiate themselves right now. I used to have that problem with not being able to tell. But no, Tony, why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts? We're going to go back to some of the other matches because we've been going in order. So we're going to go back and get your thoughts on some of these other matches in just a minute. But your thoughts on Spy versus Spy here.
I didn't. I'm with you guys. I think the lead up was better than the actual match itself. Someone in our chat mentioned it during the show that Jey has been having more singles matches than Jimmy. If you actually think back, that every time Jimmy's in a match, he's teamed up with Solo. So it doesn't really seem like they have a lot of confidence in Jimmy by himself ever since he's turned heel and they separated the two. So yeah, I didn't really think the match itself was that great. I had high expectations because the build was really good. But the match itself really didn't deliver. To me, it kind of ended out of nowhere. There was really no build up to the ending of the match. It just kind of happened. But I think overall, hopefully we'll see something happen with Jey now, because they've been teasing something, building with him, going after titles or whatever have you. And I don't know what they're going to do with Jimmy. It seems like Jimmy's stuck in limbo. It's either he's doing something with Solo or he's just not on the show at all. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens after this. But the match itself, I thought, didn't live up to the expectations that I at least had.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like I said, I thought this was, as the show went on, I think this overtook my match of the night, only from this point of I loved the spot in the match, that the begging spot that Jimmy did, where he was that hits me like in the feels, and sometimes those are the things that can make things better in my mind. Because like I said, at this point there wasn't anything that was a blow away great match. I thought there were a little bit of faults between Rhea and Becky. I thought there were a little bit of faults in the tag ladder match, which I really enjoyed. And then the tag match was good. But for some reason, I contrary to what a lot of people thought, I really kind of enjoyed this match. But like I said, I can understand people saying it didn't deliver because it didn't.
What did Astrid think? What did you think?
Astrid?
Yeah, I feel like even the ending felt like it came out of nowhere. I was underwhelmed with the match in itself. I guess I found the super kicks. I was like, okay, that's it. And I really wanted more of that aggression between both of them. Just like you went from obviously hanging out and being twins and looking out alike to now trying to be different from each other. To me, the funniest part was like my mom was watching and my parents don't watch wrestling on a weekly basis like I do. They just watch sometimes the big pay-per-views. So I asked them to watch WrestleMania like we usually do as a tradition in our household. So we're doing a little weekend party out of it. So when my mom started watching the video package, she goes, "Wait, it's brother versus brother?" And we all say, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh no, that's not cool. No, no, that's not cool." And that's all she could say. And she goes, and then when they're watching, they're putting the part here with Rikishi. She goes, "Oh no, I hate the stink face too. No, no, I'm not doing this." And it's like those are the things that I took out of this match. Is the part of like the video package was like the best thing out of this. It's like I enjoyed how much they built up to it, but then the match in itself, it just didn't feel like it should have been. I expected more from both of them and from what the storyline had leading up to the match in itself. It just, I don't want to say I was disappointed, but definitely underwhelmed with this one.
I think I liken it to Trick versus Mello from earlier in the day. It's a match that had all the build and all the promise, but at the end of the day, it didn't fully deliver in the physical sense. But I think here more than in the Trick Mello match, I got the heel face dynamics. I got the idea of the story of the match, I think, came through. Even if the match wasn't as good as it could have been or should have been, I really do like it. We had SCG coming in with some great comments. Your mom doesn't like the Fatu family. Also, by the way, the biggest win of this match was the whoever's on the socials for Dude Wipes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I was saying, I don't know if Tony saw this while he was
doing
his watch along. I assume somebody would have brought it in for you. For those that don't know, somebody talked about how crazy it was that the match between two brothers whose guys does the stink face was sponsored by Dude Wipes. And the Dude Wipes goes, "Yeah, we know how to we kill it on the marketing shit."
Yeah, that was good. That was good. But Astrid made a good point about the promo package before. Excellent. Which WWE always does. They knock them out of the park with the video packages before the matches. But yeah, it was just an underwhelming match, and it was a great comparison to the Trick and Mello match because to me it was the same kind of ending to the same matches.
Yeah, it did what it was supposed to do, but it fell a little flat at the when you finish it. You don't get that same feeling that you expect you're going to get when it's all said and done.
Right.
All right, now we're going to go back a little bit here for everybody who's been here the whole time. You know, we apologize, but we're going to get some new thoughts on some of these matches. Back to the beginning of the show, Becky versus Rhea.
I thought the match was solid. I know Becky was battling. I guess she was sick. I saw on Twitter that she was having a fever. So I give this a little bit of a pass. I still think the match was solid, but I think it could have been like one of those matches that kind of ended abruptly. Like it felt like it was should have gone longer, but it didn't. I'm not going to give any discredit to Becky. I'm very critical of Becky. I'm not a big Becky fan. But I'll give her a pass to say that I feel like, the sickness probably held her back a little bit. I thought some of the spots they did were pretty interesting. And man, Rhea Ripley, what a talent they have with her. She's unbelievable. And they're very lucky to have her. And I think the right person won in that match for sure.
What did you think of Motionless in White?
Live performances to me at WrestleMania really very rarely go very well. And I didn't think this one was fantastic. I didn't think it was god awful. We've seen worse. And which happened later on in the night.
Wayne?
Yes, which was bad. But I think sometimes live performances just doesn't go well. And I think with her entrance, I don't feel like it needed it. I get it. It's your champ. She's your top star. And I usually do that for their top stars. It just didn't really go very well.
I think what I would say about it is I love the fact that it's giving them the star power.
Correct.
It's giving them that extra boost that we need. Because in especially with Rhea, she's had some special gears and she's had these great matches at Mania, but to come in with the pomp and circumstance of being able to get that special entrance, those don't just go to everybody. So it's nice when you get those special, and Becky having the book thing where they're reading excerpts out of her book, and then she basically for the visual crowd here, I doubt it was that way for the live crowd, but with the AR book on the screen where she basically comes out a door from the book. I thought entrance-wise, I think that's really cool. And those are the kinds of things that you can do at WrestleMania that make things special.
Right.
STG saying the worst performance of all time was Down Straight. When did they perform live? Was this The Miz?
But I absolutely agree with you. When she is labeled in the WWE as a star because of the entrance she got tonight. And I mean, who are we to disagree with that? Because she is. I mean, just look at her. I mean, she's held the title for so long, and she when she has matches. I mean, I know not every match has been great, but I mean, she's just unbelievable talent. Like we are lucky to have her, being able to watch her wrestle, because she's fantastic. Like all overall ring, promos, everything she does, she just knocks it out of the park.
I think the thing is, in wrestling, there's so many things that you can do when it comes to whether or not you're good in the ring or whether or not you're charismatic. But when you have that it factor that Rhea has, where everybody watches you, and because she plays it up, everybody wants her, whether it be males, whether it be females. She plays into a specific line to make sure that she gets the most out of what she's doing. And you know what? If that works for her, great. We know part of the storyline going into this match was Becky saying that she's over-sexualizing herself and how it's a bad look. And then Rhea going, look, I'm giving the fans what they want, and I'm not letting it go too far. And I'm like, it's a nice back and forth and give and take on two different sides. I side with Rhea that I think it's kind of hypocritical for Becky to go, you're over-sexualizing yourself, when one of the photos in her book is her and Seth Rollins naked, covered only by championships. So they did. So in her book, there's a photo that her and Seth took when she was the double champion the night before she loses her double titles. And she's covered with the Raw and the SmackDown Women's Championships, and Seth is covered by his.
Interesting. That's an interesting.
And it's Ashley's going to show us because she physically has the book.
Yeah, I have.
Wow. How is the book? I asked some of the people in our chat if they had it or read it. None of them have. Have you read?
Okay.
Yeah, I've been reading it and listening to the audiobook. I hope I can get this right. Oh, no, never mind.
Well, I'll be damned.
Right there.
So it's like, so I mean, it's one thing to talk about how Rhea doing this thing face over-sexualizes herself and does something, but when you have that in a printed thing that you've chosen, that photo was specific because nobody would know that photo exists other than her and Seth. So the only person that included that photo is her. It's not like WWE was like, hey, we want you to include this photo.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not like Mandy when Mandy did it. Like WWE knows it exists because it was on social media. This was obviously a photo that was specifically for her and Seth that never saw the light of day because everybody went crazy when they saw it because we didn't know.
Interesting pick choice.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I think it leads into an interesting thing about, and not in a bad way, but it leads into an interesting thing about Becky and, does she mean the things that she says and how you can kind of turn her into a heel where and you could have done the double swap here. Turn Rhea into a complete babyface, which would be easy to do. The fans adore her and make Becky a full-fledged heel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to move on to Tony's thoughts on the ladder match.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. I like to say, when you have ladder matches, you expect crazy stuff to happen. I might be in the minority here, but like when you have all these tag teams in a match with ladders and tables and everything involved, you expect to see crazy spots. I think the only really crazy one was the JD spot, and props for him to taking that because that could have ended pretty badly. But the match was a little underwhelming in my opinion. I enjoyed it, if that makes any sense. I just thought it was a little underwhelming. Theory and Waller grabbed the titles so quickly, and they're taken out of the mix really quick, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't really live up to my expectations of the tag title match. I'm glad for R-Truth and The Miz. The R-Truth's been entertaining for the last couple of months. He finally gets his little WrestleMania moment, which cool. I'm happy for him. But I don't know. It just didn't really lead up to what I thought. I figured Theory and Waller would win. But I wanted to see DIY win. I wanted to see them win those belts, and I loved their entrance with the DX stuff, and um, I mean, all the entrances were good, and some of the attire that they wore. Just I don't know. I think the match wasn't that um awesome as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think we were on the of similar lines where we thought it was a good match. It had its moments, but at the same time, it didn't go full crazy. And for me, that's a plus. I don't like it when the ladder matches sometimes go full crazy. I don't need to have the dangerous spots like we've had in the past with TLC 2 or things like that. Like I don't need to go full Jeff Hardy getting speared holding the holding the titles. Like
fair. That's fair. Yeah, I get you on
but
that.
like at the same time, I like to have crazy spots, and I felt like this had a couple of those. The JD spot I thought was pretty crazy. The Grayson Waller spot going through that ladder on the side of the side of the ring. I thought that for him that's a crazy spot to take. And we talked about it before you got in here. The Awesome Truth winning these championships is the perfect team, even if DIY doesn't win, even if because they're a type of team that they can lose it Monday.
Yeah,
they can lose it any given Monday. You can swap these titles off of them because the Awesome Truth only needed it for the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And fans will be upset, of course, they lose on Monday, but they'll be over it next day. Absolutely, I agree 100% with you.
I think this is something where you could put the titles on DIY, or you could put the titles on the Creeds, or you can put the titles on anybody that you choose on any given day, and nobody's going to really bat an eye because they're transitional champions. You have to take them off the Judgment Day because you need to tell further stories. But at the same point, it's like these are the perfect guys because it gives them a reign that they needed, but it doesn't necessarily hurt them when they eventually lose them to any of the younger, better tag teams that are in this division.
Yeah.
Going into the comments, we got STG saying this match was only okay for me. I took a food break. Understandable. Barry Monkey saying, I'm not sure 4 or 5 of these would go down in history as great tag teams, to be honest. I agree. You have the New Day, you have DIY, and that's really it for great tag teams in this match. I think those are the only two that are going to go down as great tag teams. I think Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are a good tag team of two young heels that you can put tag titles on to push them.
Yeah, especially on SmackDown for sure. I agree with you on that, and I know I like Bate and Dunne together. They're a nice little tandem as well. But I mean, really, how far are they going to go with them? And you could see Judgment Day. There's something that's going to start coming up with them, and like you said, Awesome Truth and the Miz. I don't see them being together after this month, probably.
Yeah, I think this is something you can do just for now, but it gives you that WrestleMania moment, like Zack Ryder. Sometimes it's just about a WrestleMania moment, and there's nothing wrong with that. Pop the crowd live, and then give us a moment on the Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
What if the Hardys get out of their contract, the Hardys come in on the Raw after Mania, like there are crazy things that you can do this upcoming Monday that can really do something, and it only works because it's the Awesome Truth. You can't do it if it's DIY. You can't do it if it's the New Day. You can't do it if it's the Judgment Day that hold those titles.
Yeah.
We go back to Legado del Fantasma, I call them, but LDF. It's Santos and Dom versus Andrade and Rey.
Okay match. I really don't have much to say about this. It was okay. It's cool to see Andrade on a WrestleMania. Santos, I'm a big fan of him, so I'm glad to see him get a WrestleMania match. But other than that, I just thought this match was just a filler match just to get Jason Kelsey on the show, to get the Eagles fans riled up. I could have done without this match, to be honest with you.
No.
I like that it's here, but I agree that it was mostly done. I wish it would further the story to get us to whichever mask versus hair match we're going to get, whether it's Dom or Santos. I want that hair versus mask match, and I kind of want to say, Ray, thank you for the memories. Now get the fuck out.
Wow.
I think it's also interesting that Rhea's the only one from Judgment Day to win and the whole WrestleMania. So I think that's something that's gonna play out probably on Monday when she's like, "You are all losers except for me." And it's just like, And she can definitely say something about that on Monday. So I'm expecting that to happen when they go backstage at the club.
That's a good point. I thought Carlito was going to turn heel. I thought for sure Carlito was going to do something tonight for being overpicked. He got picked over twice. So I was like, yeah, Carlito's going to do something. They even mentioned it on commentary. Michael Cole mentioning how people were going crazy on Twitter, which blew my mind. But I was expecting that. The spot with I'm not sure what name who's his name,
Wild.
the one that, with the Wild the flying off the rope. That was cool, but I'm with you. Like, I'm waiting for the mask versus hair match, and why didn't they do it this year? Like, that's I don't know. What are you waiting for? Like, that's the thing.
That should have. I think what you should have done is you should have done the tag match with everybody else, the LWO, and it should have been a 6-person tag between Garza and Humberto and Elektra versus the LWO and Zelina, with Andrade on their side, and then you had hair versus mask tonight.
Yeah.
Or coming on Sunday.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Barry Monkey. So much easier when he was DJ Z.
Exactly.
Yeah, when he's DJ Zima Ion from back in his TNA days.
Loved him. Yeah, Astrid, are you a Dom fan, Astrid?
He's one of those I'm torn about, but it's still No, I really wanted, like, my idea originally was that match, I wanted it to be that multi-person match and having everybody that they could from both teams, including the girls, and have that wrap it up and be that moment that we wrap up this whole rivalry. Because what was the point? They're all outside anyway. They all got involved anyway. So but that's what should have done the multi-person match and get everybody that WrestleMania moment. And I think it would have been kind of leading up to like that hair versus mask match moving forward later on. But yeah, I feel like they could have been better that way, and they could have done it that way the whole time. And it's like I was like, when Dragon Lee got attacked and they were gonna change the match, I was hoping that would be the change. And they would just replace him on Andrade. I went, really? That's all you could do? That's a whole other people behind him. So that's the only thing that it kind of disappointed me in that aspect. But again, I enjoyed the matches. I just like everybody here.
And just to speak about my thoughts on Dom, I named Dom the WWE's Male Wrestler of the Year in 2023. No, let me defend myself here. Dominic Mysterio had matches with every big star in WWE in 2023 on the Raw side. Cody, Seth, Jimmy, Jay, Drew. Like, he wrestled everybody. Sami, you name it. Dom wrestled them. And then he also held the NXT North American Championship for a good 4 months. Like, seriously, there's little else he could have done to be a better wrestler in the year 2023. You can.
He was also carried in all those matches as well. I'll give him this. He's a workhorse. Like, that dude works his ass off. I'll give you that. Like, he's reliable. He's there Monday, Tuesdays, Fridays, house shows. He's hated. Give him that. His character is fantastic. But in the ring, grab me a pillow. Like, I don't need to see him again.
I said, how could you not pick Rollins? You picked like Dom over Rollins for Superstar of the Year.
I do.
How? How?
His matches are okay, but holy crap, it's the Wrestler of the Year. Wow.
The Male Wrestler of the Year.
Wow. You're like my co-host who loves. He thinks Dom walks on water.
No. I love to take the shit out of Dom. I don't think Dom is a great wrestler. I just think in the year 2023, I think he had the best year.
That's fair.
Like, I'm not sitting here saying put Dom in the Hall of Fame. I'm saying in the year 2023, when it came to WWE programming, Dominic was all over the place.
He was.
And while Seth did a lot of good work with that championship, there's differences here. Prison change. I do see the redemption in XCOM Dom.
Lord.
But moving on to other, I thought this. No. Dom has never had a 5-star match and probably never will.
Oh my god.
I am slightly realistic when I come to my Dominic Mysterio.
Oh my
the
god.
Big Three versus Damage Control. These entrances were chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Love the entrances here. Tony, why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts on the 6-woman tag here?
I think it did what it was supposed to do, kind of showcase Jade a little bit. I love the entrances as well. I thought all the women looked great in their entrances. I'm glad that Naomi was able to get her moment as well because everyone's going crazy because she returns to the WWE and is taking losses to Tiffany Stratton. And oh my goodness, how dare she put over a younger talent? Oh my God, the world's going to end. So I'm glad she was able to get her own little moment tonight. Of course, Bianca looked fabulous. Jade, again, she did what she had to do. Go in there, does her power moves, and looked fantastic. The damage control, it is what they are. They're just kind of like a team that is going to put on good matches, but more than likely put the other talent over. I think we all knew coming into this match that I don't know what Team Jade or whatever you want to call them, we're going to win. Damage control stood no chance. Dakota looked great. It was glad to see her back in the ring after being out for so long with the knee injury. I'm just glad the tag team champions didn't take the pin and it was Dakota. I think that makes a little bit more sense for it to happen. But I don't really have anything bad to say about this match because it was all what we thought it was going to be. It was them to showcase Jade, and that was about it. I don't really have anything bad to say about the match.
Astrid?
I think the only part that I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I guess it was like my downfall is like I feel like I wanted to see more from Naomi and we didn't. I feel like we saw mostly a lot from Bianca, and then with that little bit we got with Jade because obviously they're just kind of protecting her for the moment and giving her that WrestleMania spotlight. But Bianca was the MVP in this match for me. She's the one that did almost everything and they made everybody look good as well. But yeah, I wish I could have seen a little bit more from Naomi though. It's like I feel like at one point she was mostly on the outside, and then and my dad even was like, "Wait, it's 3-on-2. Where's the other one?" And I was like, "Well, she's still outside." And even towards the end is when she came in. And it's like I thought that was kind of strange because I wanted her to be more of a factor in the ring and team up a little bit more with Bianca because I don't think we're gonna see much of this afterwards. So now that you have the match happening, I really wanted them to be a little bit more cohesive in that aspect. Is what I wanted more like double team moves between both of them because I feel like them two would have done better with the double teams. But I don't know what happened there. That's the only thing that I would criticize from the match in itself. But again, I like seeing all the ladies got involved and the entrances were really well done. I love how great it looked with the gear. I hope Bianca made all their gears because they look so incredible together with the colors and everything. It's like they look like such a team and they're out there. So I really enjoyed that, and I think Jay looked like $1,000,000 in the moments they gave her. So yeah, it was really well done.
1 minute 56 seconds is Jade Cargill's in ring time, and no, don't roll your eyes, Astrid. That's not a bad thing. They know what they're doing, and it's not necessarily a bad thing for her to have limited time. Because of the fact that they know her weaknesses, they know her strengths. And instead of putting her out there for 10 minutes and having her fumble her way through a match, they know that put her on the apron, let her do what she needs to do, and bring her in to do the power stuff. Bring her in, like Tony said, to do the big moves, to hit the moves, and to get the win. It makes her look like the $1,000,000 that you talked about, Astrid, but at the same time, it gives her a chance to be in front of this audience, to have us attempt to love her, because we need to get to know her. She still needs to continue to grow, but she can't stay at a minute and a half and a minute or just under 2 minutes for every match. Each of these matches needs to be a little bit longer and a little bit longer, and she needs to go into deeper matches, bigger, high-scale opponents. Because at this point now, I'd feed her the Xia Lees, and I'd feed her some of the lower-end SmackDown talent for a little bit, just to get her in-ring shape up and to get her in front of these fans to see what she can do. But it's really important that if they're going to get the investment that they have, because they've made a large investment in her, and I think she's worth every dollar. Don't get me wrong, I don't think she's great, but I think she's worth every dollar that they're spending on her. I listened to her on Busted Open, and I was invested because she's not a wrestling fan. And this is going to come off weird considering the position he's in. She comes off to me like Brock Lesnar. She's here for a paycheck. She's here to be a star. She's here to do the things she needs to do. She's not here because deep in her heart, she bleeds wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Her heart doesn't pump wrestling. She's here because it's a way to be a star, to make a life for herself and for her family. And if you listen to that interview on Busted Open, you see that, but it's not in a way that makes her come off as selfish or inconsiderate. She understands the position she's in, and her motivation is to earn the position she's in. And I love that because it makes me want to like her. I don't think highly of Jade Cargill as an in-ring talent right now. I want her to prove me wrong. As of right now, I've been proved wrong. As of right now, in the limited bits that I've seen of her, she's doing pretty well. Is she perfect? No, of course she's not perfect. Most wrestlers aren't when they start. But every time she gets a little bit better and a little bit better. And they're making her look like $1 million, and that's what you need to do.
No, you just want progress. That's all you want to see.
STG, no, it's great. It builds her up slowly. She's going to get better and better, unlike in AEW. Barry Monkey, all I'm really seeing is a female almost at present. At least she can talk. At least she can talk.
Yeah.
Newman Co., I do like the match, but I'm glad the women's tag titles weren't defended, other than it being a whole can of worms that the Kabuki Warriors lose the women's tag titles. Twitter goes crazy. Glimmer's Jar joining in and agreeing with one of the two comments. When it's typed, you never know if it's right after one or the other. I'm assuming it's after the Barry Monkey comment because they're both on Twitch, so I'm assuming it's the female almost thing. I like that at least we saw the women's tag team championships this year, because I think had it not been for Asuka's injury and for needing to shoehorn Jade into something, I think it would have been Naomi and Bianca versus the Kabuki Warriors for the titles.
Yeah.
And I think that's and I still think we're going to get that come SmackDown. And that's probably where we go on SmackDown. And STG saying the bare minimum, well, it's better than Ronda Rousey. It really is. Because like I said, at least Jade wants to be a great wrestler. Ronda wanted to come in and be a star. Jade wants to be a great wrestler. And like I said, if you haven't, go ahead and give that interview a listen. It was really insightful to me because I never really listened to her rationale for why she does the things she does. And I liked hearing from her.
I'm going to check that out.
I don't often praise Busted Open because I think Dave LaGreca is a fucking lunatic, but
yeah, he is. For the most part.
And we get to the most interesting result of the night. Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Astrid, I want to go to you first, and then we'll go to Tony and talk about this. Talk to us about Sami versus Gunther here.
It just left me speechless. I really gasped. Especially towards that ending when he was pinning Gunther, and just like I kept thinking that's not it, is it? It's like that was a 3. I was like, wow. I was really surprised. It's like I get like most of us, I was thinking Gunther was gonna have this championship leading on to that European tour and probably get Gable involved in there somewhere, maybe Dragon up to begin with. But there was some moments that they kept pointing the camera towards Sammy's wife, and I kept thinking, they're not gonna break her heart again, are they? And it's like it already happened once. I don't want to see it again. And I feel like seeing her so often, it kind of gave me faith that he would win it. But then when he won it, I just couldn't believe it happened. I really couldn't. And again, I feel like he had that, that moment from the entrance, going from, from his wife and his son to Gable to KO. And just like that kind of build up there and that motivation they gave him. It was like, I loved how it just kind of made him kind of survive the match, if you want to call it like that. Again, it's just like, this was definitely, that was totally unexpected for me, but I loved the celebration. I love how it ended for him. I definitely just expected him to get the storyline a little bit longer than past WrestleMania, but still, I'm just happy it was him. It's one of those, like, in my mind, I thought Gunther, but in my heart, I wanted Sami to win, so I'm really glad that he won.
Yeah. Before we go on, I just realized I missed a comment earlier, and I want to get back to it because it is an interesting one. Do we think that we see the Motor City Machine Guns win the titles, the tag titles? We talked about how you could do a one-night drop of these tag titles. What about the Motor City Machine Guns on Monday night?
I think they're AEW bound. There's too many. They got too many people they're friends with over there in AEW. I just don't
Mhm,
see them coming to. I mean, it would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
mhm.
maybe Triple H can make some type of moves and miracles happen. But there's always that stigma with WWE that if they don't know who you are, this, that, and the other, they're not going to book you or build you up to what you think you are. I think it's that stigma is going away, but I think we go to Tony Khan, less dates, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. I just don't see it.
No,
I think
I figured it was worth bringing. Oh, sorry, Ashton.
no, I was gonna say the part that I feel like more that makes people lean more towards AEW is the fact that they can do AEW and do other indie bookings and outside projects, and that's one big thing that W cannot offer or doesn't offer, to put it like that.
Right.
Because even Triple H just throwing kind of shaded to that is like, oh, you're working, let's date this and that. But again, they're working less states, but they're working with promotions they want to work for. They're working talent in the indie circuit that they want to work with. And it's that and the part that they can do so many outside things that they feel like they don't get owned kind of thing. So I feel like they have more of that liberty that you don't get with WWE. But if it happened on Monday night, trust me, I will be marking out if Motor City Machine Guns come out and win the tag titles. Don't get me wrong. I would love that for it to happen. But I feel like AW has more of that leverage in that aspect that David doesn't have. And it's the part that they can do so many outside things. And I feel like it works out for them in the end. They don't have to be in TV every single week. Things like that is what makes people lean over a little bit more towards that AEW side when they get a contract.
Yep.
I just wanted to bring it up because we had the opportunity here talking about it. Tony, your thoughts on Gunther versus Sami?
I'm with the Astrid. I did not think Gunther was gonna win. I'm sorry, lose. I did not see that coming at all. My bold prediction from last Monday was that Gunther was gonna win. Monday after Raw, he lose to Gable. That was what I thought was gonna happen. Um, I love the backstage footage of Sammy seeing his kid and his wife, and they're hugging him, and he's walking up, and then Kevin's there meeting him before he enters. Thought that was brilliant. Whoever thought of that, give them,
Mhm.
give them a raise. Whoever thought of that was fantastic. I still thought he was gonna lose. Like Asher said, the shots to his wife, it gives you that hope that Sammy's gonna win, but you still don't think he's gonna win. And Gunther was giving it to him pretty much the majority of the match, and he's power bombing him, and he's going to the top rope and flying on him and slamming him, and he's looking at his wife, and I just thought it was over then. And then Sammy out of nowhere, the brainbuster on the turnbuckle it just blew my mind when he actually did win. This man has had back-to-back WrestleMania moments where he's beat the longest reigning tag team champs. Now he beats the longest reigning IC champ. I don't want to hear nothing about Sammy being poorly booked ever again, because this man has had his moments that will last a lifetime. And it was a fantastic match. Before this match, I had the triple threat at NXT being the match of the night or the day, if you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But this match topped it by far. I thought this match was unbelievable. I'm just curious now what happens next, because obviously Gunther's going to want a rematch. Does Sammy lose it Monday? Because Gable mentioned, hey, you owe me one. So does he lose it on Monday? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens after after WrestleMania. But again, like Asher said, I was blown away. I did not expect Gunther to lose.
I didn't either. I thought it was an amazingly interesting decision by them to do it. And I love how Gunther didn't lose because he got beat. Gunther lost because he got cocky.
Right.
I love that about Gunther. They protect, and it brings up, Glamorous Jar brings it up, and I will bring this up just because I think this is the point to it. I just don't like it when a dude gets his ass beat for 10 minutes, then does 3 moves and wins. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. However, it's the way that they tell this story that makes this portion of the story make sense. Yes, Sammy got his ass kicked for 10 minutes, and Gunther had that match. All he had to do was pin him. All he had to do was pin him, and he would have done it. But he chose to rub it in. He chose to get cocky, and that's what costs him. And I think that is perfect for the Gunther character. I think it is precisely what needed to happen. I think it's a great way to move him from one story to the next. And now Gunther is world championship material, and we can move him on to Drew McIntyre, to Seth Rollins, to Damian Priest, and we can worry about him headlining Bash in Berlin in August. We're on the road to Gunther headlining as world champion or winning the world title in August in Berlin. I love this match, though. I thought it was really great. It did exactly what it needed to do. Didn't, for me, top the triple threat. I adored that triple threat so much, and I love Oba just a little more than I love Sami. So that it didn't quite top it, but it's right there among the two. Just going back to the comments, because we've had a bunch of them come in as we've been talking. I didn't want to interrupt people. Who's better, LaGreca or Meltzer? They both are terrible people. I don't care about either one of them. One of them's blocked me on Twitter. I'll let people figure out which one's which. Barry said this is why we need NXT women's tag team titles, because at present we only have one women's title for all tag title for all of WWE, and it's not even defended. I agree. I wouldn't hate women's tag titles, but again, NXT doesn't have a lot of women tag teams. They only have a handful. And I think having that new North American Women's Championship is going to give a lot of free will to that women's division in NXT. Tony, we weren't on our stand and delivered stuff. What did you think of that?
I'm happy, because I know you probably said it many times, you and Astrid. NXT women are talented. And the reason why all of them are not on television is because they only have one title and they can only do so much. Yeah, there's other feuds that go on other than the women's title, of course. But they have so many talented women. How can you not have a mid-card title for the women? And I'm happy for them. And just as it's going to boost up so many of them to be able to get into the picture of where, like Soruka and all these other women that are super talented, but not in big time roles because they have a certain direction that they're going on NXT. So I'm happy for the mid card title. I'm assuming they'll do some type of a tournament for it. So we'll see a lot more women. You got Julia there now, assuming she's going to be there. So man, the talent in NXT, not just the men, but the women, holy crap. I'm happy.
We did get mid stand and deliver. We did get the finger point picture from Triple H with Julia. So it sounds like it's a done deal. We'll have to wait on the post show to find out really what's going on. STG Phony Khan loves his guaranteed contract. I mean, Tony Khan. New to the world, thank you for your first time chat. I did see this and I wanted to get to it, but I also wanted to get to it. We weren't in the middle of another discussion. Just throwing it out there, but Jacob Fatu not being on the GCW show after being on the poster seems suspicious. There's a whole lot of Samoans that are just hanging around this weekend. Haku's there.
That is very interesting.
Ishii's there. A whole lot of Samoans who just happen to be hanging around. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Nubenko, I agree with both Tony and Astrid. It surprises me that Gunther's lost tonight and the mind is blown. I agree. But like I said, they needed something to pop a oh my God moment. This was that oh my God moment show in my mind.
Yeah, I did not I didn't expect him to lose. I know it's kind of weird. It was 666 days when he lost the title. That's a little bit of a weird number there, but I did not think Sami was going to win. I thought we'd get a fantastic match and he would fall short. But him winning, I mean, goodness gracious, back-to-back years where him defeating the longest reigning champs, either the tag titles and now IC title. My goodness.
I was gonna say I posted that in the Discord earlier when this happened. I'm like, 2 straight years back-to-back manias. He's dethroned the opponents that he's had, the longest reigning champions of that title, and he's dethroned both of them.
Pretty incredible.
Barry Monkey saying if they do NXT Japan or NXT Asia, Motor City Machine Guns would be a great fit. They're well known and respected over there, and they speak English. Not necessarily a bad idea. I think that would be an interesting thing. I bet it was Meltzer who blocked you. Might be. It might very well be Meltzer. It's absolutely certainly Meltzer who blocked me. Nubenko, on day 66 with the devil say, nope, you're not winning tonight, Gunther.
Basically, Jesus.
And STG, this is me being overly picky. When Sami didn't cover with the legs up, I thought Gunther. I was certain Gunther was going to kick out of that after that last pin. That you know, if you played 2K23 or 2K24, that tired pin almost never works. So I thought it was going to be a kick out, but and then the overbooked match of the century.
No, that's tomorrow.
As of right now, it's still this one. Tomorrow, the Avengers in Endgame hasn't happened yet. So until that happens tomorrow, Infinity War is going to have to win. Tony, your thoughts on the tag match?
I mean, we basically got a bloodline match tonight. I mean, I don't understand. I don't get like if The Rock has that much pull to make rules himself. I mean, even if they did lose, The Rock could easily come back tomorrow and just be like, hey, do this, that, and that. He could just let things go anyways. But disregard that. I'm shocked The Rock took some of the spots he did. The table spot shocked me. I didn't think The Rock would do something like that. You know, props for Roman being in the match the majority of the time because The Rock could not, you know, he was blown up half the match. He either not even on the apron sometimes. I don't know what he was doing. Yeah, the match was overbooked like hell. You know, The Rock telling the ref not to count them out. They're going into the crowd. They're going up the stage. I don't want to be too hard on this match because I didn't expect to see the greatest tag team match ever. I thought we would see something when the Roman speared The Rock. I thought easily we would see some type of animosity, some like The Rock getting pissed at Roman, something. But no, they just kind of like just ignored it. Cody taking the pinfall makes sense. I like the shot at the end where he's just sitting there, kind of like last year after he lost to Roman. I thought that was a nice touch. I'm really hoping Drew wins tomorrow, so I'm hoping the knee plays an issue tomorrow for Drew to win. So whatever advantage Drew can get, I'm all for. I just thought this match again was overly booked to the extreme. It was all to cover up The Rock because he obviously cannot go however long this match was, 40 minutes or whatever. I mean, the entrances alone were longer than some of the matches we've got on NXT or WrestleMania.
1640.
Golly, The Rock and Roman just took in their sweet ass time to get to the ring. Thought the entrances were cool. I thought The Rock's was pretty cool. But other than that, this match was overly booked to the extreme. It made no sense to me if you're going to have a match with basically no rules, why The Rock couldn't just enforce that tomorrow. But I like how we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow because it's in limbo. We don't know. We were 100% sure Cody was winning last year, and they swerved all of us. And I still don't think we're 100% sure Cody's going to win tomorrow. So I'm interested to see how this match goes, but definitely an overbooked match. It was okay.
Yeah.
Basically.
Ophelia Payne saying woo. STG, me and STG are on the same page on this one. I have a guilty pleasure for this crap. I love me a little bit of an overbooked mess, and this match was exactly that. It's an overbooked mess. But to me, that's sometimes every now and then you need that. And again, I wouldn't want this on every pay-per-view. And we get this when Roman's here, that there's always a bit of an overbooked mess when Roman's here. But when it's just Roman stuff that's like this, I can deal with it. Because it's not like the Attitude Era where every match was this stuff.
I'll give you that.
Greatest in name power, not performance. I agree. I'm with you, Tony. I thought Roman was going to be there 90% of the match. I thought Roman earned every ounce of his paycheck tonight. I thought he really went in there and did a lot of yeoman's work. Seth did a lot of yeoman's work tonight, considering he's got a big match tomorrow. I'm very surprised at how much he was in there for tonight. Ophelia's saying what I think is going to happen, that Drew's going to cash it, that Damian's going to cash in on Drew and he's going to be sad about it.
No, don't be sad about that.
Why?
I think
Why are people wishing that? What is wrong with all of y'all to wish Damian? Drew McIntyre has done some of the greatest work in the last two. This man has been. Oh my god! Like I never was a big Drew McIntyre guy at all, but holy crap, the stuff he's doing on Twitter and on the light on Raws. My god, how would you wish him to lose and get cashed in on? What is wrong with you?
I
Ashley,
don't
what
want
is wrong with you?
I don't want Drew to get cashed in. I want Damian to pull the Heist of the Century Part 2 and
No.
cash in while the match is going on and beat Seth.
Oh,
Because I want to see Damian with that championship. I want to see Damian with that. I think Drew has done fantastic work. I think Drew is spectacular, and I think if he's ready, don't do it at SummerSlam. Please, for the love of God, in Scotland, do Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk.
oh god.
I think that should be the match at Clash at the Castle. I think if he's healthy, and it sounds like he's gonna be in June, do Clash at the Castle, Drew versus CM Punk. Because imagine Drew doing all of this in front of his hometown crowd. I think there's big money in that, and that doesn't need a championship. I think there's plenty of time for Drew to win this title later on. Put him over on SmackDown, where Cody's going to obviously be, and let him take that championship from Cody. But I think we have SCG saying, Tony, that spear could boil over to tomorrow if The Rock tries to attack Cody and hits Roman instead. There's a lot. It didn't happen tonight, but doesn't mean it can't happen. It wasn't a great wrestling match, but it was a spectacle. The charisma of the contenders made up for any issues. I agree with that statement. What about you guys? What do you think about the charisma over the spectacle overtaking the fact that it was a 40-minute long slog of a match?
I'll let Astrid answer that.
To be honest, I felt like I was already dozing off when the entrances was starting, and I was disappointed. And not only that, but I feel like it took too long for it to like really get started. I feel like they were kind of like teasing it, and then something would happen, somebody would get tagged down. I'm like, can you guys start already, please? I just want this to get over with, and it just wasn't over with. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the way this. I don't mind the overbooking mess. I get that because this is something that it doesn't happen all the time in that aspect, but it's just the way that it took too long for it to pick up, and once it picked up, it just like that's okay. I wasn't a fan of how it went down. To be honest, I was expecting a little bit more, especially when it started from everybody here. And I hate to say that when Seth Rollins is in this match. To be honest, it just pains me to say that, but and like Tony was saying, even my brother mentioned that it's like to the point of like, why is why is The Rock saying about the bloodline match tomorrow when he could just say that as a TKO executive in the ring tomorrow and say, oh no, we're doing this, and that because I said so. Because he literally said it with the referees, like, don't count me out or you're fired. He literally told the referee that. So it's like, we could see that tomorrow and it could have been a regular match and just him calling out stuff as it happens. But there was a point when Roman was taking Cody up the ramp that I was expecting like at least Solo and maybe Jimmy to kind of show up there and do a little something. So when they didn't show up, that's when I thought, okay, they're saving everybody for tomorrow. That's what it is. Everybody that didn't show up today is showing up tomorrow for sure. We're gonna get that Avengers scenery with everybody tomorrow in that hot mess. So I knew this was overbooked today, but I know it's gonna be even worse tomorrow in that aspect of it. So I'm already expecting it.
We got SCG saying Drew McIntyre's work has been next level lately. If the cash in happens, I'll be pissed. Tony, for more love for you, Drew deserves a run with a win in front of fans. I'm not wishing for a cash in at all. Edward, is still wishing for a cash in. STG telling me to make sure I don't hold my breath. CM Punk could tear it Achilles.
No CM Punk bashing. Come on now. And I agree with Astrid. Like it was like, come on, like let's get going with this match. You know, we got 16-minute entrances, and now y'all just staring at each other. Like let's get it going. Now, I have enjoyed The Rock. I know a lot of people have not really enjoyed The Rock, like him coming out there and dropping F-bombs on Raw and saying what he has been saying. I've enjoyed The Rock being involved. I don't really care for The Rock overshadowing Roman, because that's what it's about. To me, this match is it's more about Cody and The Rock than it is Cody and Roman. And I don't like how they kind of did that. Now tomorrow, if things switch up and The Rock turns on Roman or whatever have you, we'll have to see what happens. But um, I give props to The Rock. He did more than what I thought he was going to do in tonight's match. I didn't think he was going to be the one taking the table spot and going out to the crowd and doing all this stuff. So props to him for doing that. But like you said, if this is an overbooked match that we're going to get once every month or whatever have you, and it's only Roman matches, I'm okay with that. Um, I just feel like it was, I don't know, it drew out too much, and to me it was really slow. Like it really picked up near
Mm-hmm.
the end when you
Yeah.
got the table spot and the spear, and then then
Mm-hmm.
Roman actually spears the Rock and all this stuff. That's when it really got the crowd going
Mm-hmm.
live there, because most of the time the crowd was kind of sitting on their hands. They weren't really doing much.
Yeah,
And they could
and,
have been
and I,
worn out. It's a 6-hour event. I get it. But it didn't really seem like the fans really got into the match to like the last, 10, 15 minutes of it.
yeah, and I agree. I think that if you cut this match in half and you do all the same stuff that you did, but in half the
Mm-hmm.
time, less sitting around doing nothing, I think this is a much better match.
Mm-hmm.
But I can wholeheartedly agree with everybody here. STG saying, I only speak the facts, Tony. It doesn't matter who you are. Barry Monkey, at this rate with the I'm on the board stuff, people will start asking for Vince back. No, nobody's going to ask for Vince back. Barry Monkey, good night, everyone. I realize it's near 6 a.m. Good night, Barry. Thank you for joining us from the UK. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early for point of view tomorrow morning. We also SG say, I was surprised not to see the Spanish announce table get destroyed on the rock bottom spot. Remember, the Spanish announce table lost themselves their table during Takeover, so it had to be the U.S. table this time because you gotta do a balancing act. For anybody who remembers the Attitude Era, the Spanish announce table always goes first, and then you swap to the other table
Always.
afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Always. That was a rule. Number one rule.
Yeah. What is everybody's thoughts on Pat McAfee after this match? Because I mentioned it earlier. During one of the matches, I really thought he was getting on my nerves. And then this one, he went way, way beyond any realm of okay in this match. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Astrid.
I feel like I liked Michael Cole more than anybody in commentary tonight. Like he was like definitely my highlight because he was bringing up so many facts and speaking so honestly. There was just moments like, for example, when Roman came out and he had his 6-pack and everything, and my brother's like, when did he get so like fit and everything? And I told him, well, he hasn't been wrestling for a couple of weeks, just as Michael Cole says it at the same time. And I was like, see, we're on the same wavelength here. And he's like, well, he's had more than time off to do it. And there's like so many times that he was so honest that like when Roman comes out, you see Corey and McAfee with the ones. He's like, Cole, put your finger up, Cole, put it up. And he's like, no. And he's like, Cole. It's like so many moments there that I enjoyed Cole more than anybody in commentary because he was so honest throughout this whole thing. But aside from that, I kind of tuned out McAfee at this point because we're trying to explain to my parents the storylines moving forward in the match and everything that's going on as the match is happening. So I tuned them out, to be honest. And Michael Cole was more than highlight for me tonight during this whole night, to be honest.
I'm not a big hater of McAfee. I don't mind him. I know he's over the top sometimes, especially in the Bloodline match with Roman and the putting the one in the air and stuff. He's over the top. I don't mind him that much, but I could just listen to Cole by himself. Cole can just go out there and call the match by himself, and I'll be okay. Corey Graves is not bad by no means. I would be okay with just Corey and Michael, but Michael by himself, I would be totally fine with. Michael to me has been leaps and bounds one of the best commentators, underrated commentators in the last couple of years. He doesn't get his flowers. Everyone always affiliates him with the annoying Michael Cole and all the stuff you did back when Vince was obviously in control and doing that stupid stuff with Lawler and the booth and all that crap. I get it. I understand it. But the work that man has done in the last couple of years has been absolutely fantastic. And to me, he's the best commentator in the game right now. You could say what you want. That's fine. You may not have to agree with me, but I think tonight proved that he is one of the best. Like Astrid said, throwing out facts left and right. And even mentioning stuff like on Twitter, like that shit blew my mind. Yeah, Matt, I don't mind McAfee too much, but I could see why people don't like him.
In general, I like Pat. I think Pat normally is pretty good. I don't normally get annoyed by Pat McAfee. Normally, I think he adds to the broadcast. And him and Michael normally play off each other really well. I thought he went way over tonight. He was way too much himself tonight. And I think that hurt the match because the match was so long and we had to keep listening to him so much. I think Michael Cole and Corey Graves are the perfect pair. Mm-hmm. They are a modern day version of Gorilla and Bobby. They aren't by any means Gorilla and Bobby, but they're a modern day version of it. They're that great twosome that have the perfect working relationship. Cole works great as the straight man. Corey is a great heel commentator. He's a heel commentator who understands the baby faces and gives the baby faces the respect that they deserve, like a Bobby Heenan would do. Bobby Heenan hated the baby faces and didn't want them to ever win. But when they did, he was okay with it. And, occasionally he would give them their credit. And I think Corey does a very good job of doing that. But Pat got on me tonight. It just really bugged me. I think Michael is, like you said, I think he's one of the greatest. And the fact that he's the one who's teaching the future commentators in NXT about what to do and how to do it, I think is a big thing, and why Vic Joseph is so good in my mind.
Yeah, I like Vic Joseph.
Because 9 times out of 10, I really enjoy the work that Vic Joseph does, and that's because the person in Vic Joseph's ear is Michael Cole. A lot of times, Michael Cole's doing the work in his ear. SEG, people think of Michael Cole's past rather than the work he's doing now. I think Michael Cole, as soon as he decides to, is a Hall of Famer. As soon as he decides to let them him in, I think he's in a heartbeat.
Oh, 100.
Yeah, and I think it's been better without Vince in his ear. I feel like he was okay for me before, and I feel like even now he's more realistic, and it's because he can speak his mind more often. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have probably Vince yelling in his ear, which to me has been so much better recently than ever before.
100%.
And that, everybody, was WrestleMania Night 1. I think it was a pretty good show. I thought it was a really good show. As I said in the start of the show, Tony wasn't here yet. It wasn't the greatest night of professional wrestling I've ever watched, but at the end of this, I was thoroughly sports entertained.
Yeah, I'll give you that. If I get an A, B, or C rating, I'd give it a B. I thought it was good. Obviously, the best match to me was Sami and Gunther.
Yep.
But I'm excited for night 2. I'm waiting to see what happens there. Only 6 matches, so you're gonna have to expect one of these matches to go very long, which will probably be the main event. Like you said, the Avengers line up and take out the evil bloodline. But we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to happen. Tony, I don't have any. Unfortunately, I forgot to make some stuff up for you. Tell the good people where we can find Get the Tables and everything that you've got going on with your network.
We do live watch-alongs pretty much every week. We do Monday Night Raw, we do Dynamite, and we do SmackDown. Occasionally, we'll throw in a Collision here or there, but we're usually live 3 nights a week: Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can catch us on Twitch at Get the Tables. We also will be live tomorrow for WrestleMania. We usually go live a little bit before the show actually starts, about 15-20 minutes before the actual match starts. So anybody, we'd love everyone to come by. Our community is really, really awesome. A lot of them that come here also jump over to Get the Tables, like Barry and STG and others. We do have a trivia going on, so if you guys have time to jump in, we have 20 questions tomorrow, all WrestleMania trivia. If you get them, if you're the winner, you get to pick a shirt of your choosing from the WWE shop. So your WrestleMania shirt, whatever have you, throwback. But yeah, we just like to watch-alongs on Twitch. That's what we're here on. So we just like to have a good time. We joke around. We try not to take things too seriously. Yeah, we just like to have fun. And I appreciate you guys letting me come on. I check out y'all's NXT recaps when I can and come by and hang out. And, Astrid's been by a couple of times as well. And Ed, you as well. So I always want to return the favor and send raids when I can and try to catch you guys when you're all alive. And I appreciate you guys inviting me on. Hope I can do this again sometime.
This has been something me and Ashton have talked about for a long time, about trying to find a way. But with you doing so many watch-alongs, it's so tough because, people hear like tonight, 4 hours of you talking about what your whole thoughts were. So when your audience comes here, it's 4 hours, it's recapping what they already know about what you've thought. So sometimes it can be a little tough. But I lurk a lot in your shows because I watch wrestling with my mother. And so watch-alongs are tough for me, but I love to get the tables on when I'm doing work for thumbnails or things like that. I have you guys on in the background because I think you and Dave are very entertaining, and you and the community there are super friendly and super fantastic. So much good stuff goes on there. You guys are just a wonderful place to feel comfortable with whatever thoughts you have about professional wrestling. Get the Tables is a great community. I just joined your Discord community, and it's been great to be in there to talk all kinds of different things, whether it be sports, whether it be non-sports, whether it be any type of wrestling, AEW, WWE, TNA, local indie stuff. There's always somebody talking about something in there. But again, I want to put these up here because I put them in each of the chats so that if anybody who hasn't can go ahead and follow you.
I appreciate the kind words. It's very nice of you to say. And like I say, I try to return the favor to everybody because, let's be honest, we're small streamers in a big pond here on Twitch. You got so many bigger streamers that do other platforms that make their community bigger, and we're just those little small fishes in that big ass pond. So I love to try to send my community to other places that deserve it, and I'll work y'all's asses off. And I always like to show my community, you guys, and a couple others here on Twitch, and I always try to get Dave to raid you, but he's so quick to get off on Tuesday nights. It's crazy. So, I really do appreciate you guys having me on, and would love to do it again sometime. Obviously WrestleMania is the Super Bowl, so how could you not come on here and talk with you guys? So I do appreciate that, and love to do it sometime. And I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out. We try not to take wrestling too seriously, so we do joke around a lot, and so hopefully people don't take it the wrong way. But at the end of the day, we all respect each other. We all respect each other's opinions, and I appreciate you guys hanging out, and inviting me onto the show. I really do appreciate that.
STG, it took you long enough to get Tony. He always speaks well of you both. Listen, it's so tough with booking these things is so weird because I normally default to Astrid to go ahead and get us guests because of the fact that she has a lot of connections in the community. But I was like, hey,
I see those connections, Astrid.
Yeah, I was like, we should get Tony because he's constantly in with us, and it's hard for us to be able to raid you back because so much of our programming is post shows,
correct,
and all of your programming is during the show, so it's really hard to get you back sometimes for some of this stuff. So we're going to try to get you on a little bit more regularly so we can try to do that nice give and take where we can go ahead and have a night where we have Tony pop in for some of these PLEs. We can get you on a point of view sometimes on a Sunday morning with Bobby. You guys can go ahead and talk about the week that was while Bobby tries to do some gaming. All kinds of fun stuff like that.
I'm down for whatever. I have a weird ass work schedule. I work the midnight shift to the early morning, so sometimes it might be a little bit difficult. Obviously, I took time off from work because it's WrestleMania. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to jump on and hang out with you guys. And like I said, if you're on after I'm done, we're sending our people your way. So tomorrow night, expect us to come stop by and raid and give you guys our overreactions to that main event tomorrow night.
I greatly appreciate you stopping by. I greatly appreciate you being in it. Like I said, we're going to definitely make this another occurrence because it's just so great to have you. And I appreciate the viewers who stayed around and let us talk about some of these matches a couple times. Before we get out of here, though, we do have STG asking, can we get a rating from all of us out of 5 for WrestleMania tonight? I'm going to give it 3.5. 3.5. It was a good show.
I think I'm at a 4.4 out of 5.
Wow.
It wasn't bad. I feel like to me that the downfall was mostly the main event and a little bit of the Usos match. But aside from that, I was sports entertained, as Ed says.
I'm on the same boat. Like those two matches to me both kind of like were the letdown. I'm not gonna give it a 4. I'll give it a 3.5 though. Close to a 4.
Right. There we go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and check. Speaking of raids, if you guys, actually, if you can go over the things that we've got going on the rest of the weekend, I know exactly where we're going with the raid. Never mind. We're going to go ahead and raid our good friend Mike the Ref.
Oh, yeah.
Mike the Ref does all kinds of great work. He does AEW watch-alongs like you. There's a lot of gaming content. Right now they're doing something with AEW Collision, as AEW Collision was a night show tonight. So we're going to go ahead and raid our good friend Mike the Ref. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, the community, for jumping in here. STG, I like it when we have you here. You're good fun. You have the same kind of humor that we do. Like, we have that little bit of give and take. Barry's fantastic. STG's fantastic. Everybody who jumped in is fantastic. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you again, Tony, for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We know you've had a long day with 2 watch-alongs and now joining us for a post-show.
They both were worth it. That NXT show was fantastic.
It really, really was. All right, we're going to get on out of here, folks, but we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you, guys.